Shwmai, croeso, hello and welcome to the Bluebirds Nest. Neath yr adael gleision. A quick mention and thank you to our sponsors DragonBet. If you are over 18, please head on over to dragonbet.co.uk. But as always, please gamble aware, please gamble responsibly. Episode 29, and we welcome one of the newest faces of the Haverfordwest County community, Chief Executive of the club, Georgina Nicholas. Georgina, welcome.
Thank you.
I say this regularly, but you genuinely are a guest who I've been nagging for weeks to come on. So we finally got you on an episode. So thank you for giving us some of your time. So the club announced, I think we worked it out over 9, 10, well, probably longer actually, announced your appointment at the end of January and detailed some of your previous experience. Retail operations manager at none other than Arsenal for almost a decade. You were responsible for some of the club's highest performing stores. I think it was 13 million was quoted of retail sales and a huge workforce of a couple of hundred people. Wow. But first question, London to Haverfordwest, what brings you to Pembrokeshire?
Well, I'm originally from Pembroke Dock, so due to the pandemic, I got made redundant and decided to come home, and that was sort of guided by the fact my grandmother was unwell. So came to support the family in looking after my nan, and upon sort of coming back to Pembrokeshire, coming back to my roots, decided to stay down. It was never planned to be a full-time move. And fell back in love with Pembrokeshire, getting to see my family consistently, spent the majority of my adult life in London. So it sort of seemed like a sort of seamless change, if you will. And this role came up. I did various other roles prior to this. So did some freelance consultancy, worked as the head of retail for an adventure company that was based all over the UK, but there was a significant amount of travel, and being based in Pembrokeshire, spent like 20 hours a week on the motorway. So far too much traveling. So decided to sort of put my CV back out there and saw the job being posted for Haverfordwest County. I thought the job description was really interesting, and one of the criteria on the job description was that ideally I'd worked in football. So football was calling back to me. So went through the interview process, and that's why we're speaking today.
Yeah, and going back to that, then, Rob stated in the press release that although originally it was recruiting for a general manager, your CV was beyond expectations, and hence the role was modified to CEO. I'm going to read a quote here from Rob. Georgina can not only manage and develop the off-field team, but also can work with the board in a more strategic fashion, managing larger projects and helping fulfill the Bluebirds' vision, the board's vision for the club. Wow. And for that too, general manager was going to be a great appointment for the club, but, CEO, obviously a lot more responsibility, but allowing the club to fulfill all the aspirations in the vision. When you first arrived in March, I think I was probably one of the first ones to be asking you, can you come on? Can you come on? Please be a guest. People are asking, followers of the club were asking for you to come on and have a chat to us. But you did need time to settle. That we agreed on that. So we said, yeah, we'll put it on hold for a couple of weeks. And then lo and behold, it was, you certainly weren't allowed that time to settle it. So we'll come on to my first main question. And the East Stand, and in particular, well, we can now look back and say with a wry smile, #Seatgate. It's obviously been made public knowledge that there's an ongoing legal case regarding the East Stand. So I appreciate perhaps not everything can be disclosed, but can you take us through sort of the journey over the last few weeks with regards to the East Stand?
Absolutely. So it's been a bit of a baptism of fire, to be honest. I wanted to come in, like you said, understand the club, work with the team, with the fans, with the supporters, volunteers, and just really get a feel for the club. But upon sort of reflection, one of the things that stood out immediately was the East Stand, or as we talk about, East Stand Gate. It was very obvious that, there was many broken seats within the stand and it wasn't safe. And that was a problem that's, we've inherited. So essentially, some of the steps that we took was to remove the damaged seats to make the stand as safe as it could possibly be, which we did. Now, we'd written to the FAW via our solicitors to inform them that, look, we were going to be doing this practice to make sure that the stand was as safe as it could possibly be. Equally, that stand has been in situ for a period of time. And what's interesting about the saga is that that stand was part funded by the FAW Trust. Now, we took advisement, or the former team had taken advisement from the FAW Trust to use this particular manufacturer who made and installed said stand. And obviously with the communication that we gave the FAW of what we were doing, we had no feedback to say, look, if you remove these seats, this is the potential outcome. If you go down this route, the ripple effect will be this. There was no guidance or collaboration as to, we were making step changes to make the stand as safe as possible, but there was no collaboration or communication of what that outcome could have. So there was a level of frustration, obviously, when we lost the license, despite our ongoing communication to inform them an update of where we were and what we were doing. We still had our license taken away from us, which was really disappointing as a club, considering how much work we've done and continue to do. But that left us in a situation that obviously we did lose the license, which I'm happy to say, and has obviously been communicated to fans that we've now managed to get that license back, and we're moving forward with that.
Yeah, and it's, that was definitely a reassuring message when that came out to say that we'd won the appeal. What were the solutions then in that period? I think it was a 10-day period between the license being revoked to then winning the appeal. What sort of happened to make sure we got the tier 1 license?
So we all got onto a Teams call immediately, literally the day after our license got revoked, with the necessary stakeholders to talk about the situation and what that outcome could mean to us and what the solutions and resolutions would be to be able to get the license back. So we had all stakeholders around the virtual room on a Teams call, and then we had a gentleman called Tim come down and support us with finding solutions. So Tim had come down and, we looked at the ground, looked at its capacity, looked where the issues were. And upon reflection, I think this is quite an educational piece. Looking at our planograms and physically looking at the ground, there's a hard standing area outside of the tunnel, if you will, at the front of the club. That hard standing area had never been factored into the capacity. So what we did was extend the handrail further down. And as a result of doing that, and the works have already been actioned, allowed us to get another 109 spectators added to the capacity. On top of that, on the west stand, we've got hard standing area left and right of said stand. And what we're doing, and the works are being undertaken right now, is we're actually extending that hard standing area beyond either side of the floodlights. So that brings us back to capacity. Also in the west stand, we've got some broken seats, so they're going to be fixed during pre-season. And that's basically allowed us to retain our tier 1 license. So the works are all underway. We've understood, what the issue is. We've had a call to action, and by the end of next week, all building works and maintenance will be completed and finished, and therefore allow us to move forward into next season.
Oof, whirlwind of a few weeks then, sorting all that. Like you said, it has
been. I think as well, what's been really interesting is, as a football club, we share a different crest. We're in the same league. Our fans will never be your fans and vice versa, but we all experience similar issues. And licensing being such a topical point at the moment, especially where we're considered, it's about all of us understanding, the challenges that we face and how we overcome them, because, another club could be in this position next season and, use this as a learning opportunity. What's interesting is a report was carried out in the beginning of February, so before I actually started, that was sanctioned by the FAW. That report was never shared with us prior to us losing the license. So there's been a period of time where, a report was issued, we weren't given the report, we had a call to action, we removed the faulty seats to make the stand safe, we communicated that with the FAW, And yet we still found ourselves in this position. So the lack of guidance and collaboration is something that's been difficult to manage, especially given the circumstances. And obviously on-pitch performance has been really wonderful at the moment, and long may that continue. But it's difficult to go into, into games when, you've got, by the way, your Tier 1 licence has been revoked, and then they've got to deliver on the pitch. It's been tumultuous, at least.
Okay, looking forward then, we've obviously now got our Tier 1 licence and a UEFA licence for any potential European fixtures. So all is well for the next 12 months. Spoke to Julie briefly about this on Julie's episode. The plan going forward with the Oggy Bridge Meadow then, will it be to look at getting that UEFA licence so that we can play at our ground in potential future fixtures?
Well, absolutely. I mean, there's no secret that we're going through litigation regarding the East Stand at the moment. And what we hope is that we can meet with the manufacturer round table to find a solution. If not, then we'll carry on, into court and take it down that route, which we hope we don't have to. But yes, in terms of getting the UEFA licence and being able to play that at home, then what we'll do is put an extension onto the East Stand to get more covered seats and therefore be able to have a UEFA licence that allows us to play at home. So that's very much on the agenda and part of the plan.
Wow, okay. That's interesting and exciting, I suppose, for the future.
Very much so.
I've now got a couple of quick fire questions for you. Don't worry, they're not too football related. And actually, they've come in from some Bluebirds 1899 members who I've spoken to, who've been pestering me to get you on to an episode. But what have you enjoyed most? Two parts to this question. What have you enjoyed most about being back in Pembrokeshire? And what have you enjoyed most about being at the club as well?
What I've enjoyed most about being back in Pembrokeshire is obviously seeing my family. I see them all the time. It's great. I love being back on the coast, being next to the sea. Reconnecting with childhood friends. It's been a really lovely time personally. Professionally, it's been a challenge, and it's a challenge that I've been really enjoying. There's been numerous projects and situations happening behind the scenes, whether or not it's commercially or operationally. So there's exciting things coming down the line. Working with the team, volunteers, staff, meeting the fans, that's been really great. There's a lot of passion, lots of new footfall coming through to the ground. The ultras just continue to make me laugh with their songs, and they're really passionate and really committed, and that's great to be a part of. You've
mentioned songs and ultras there now. Well, watch this space. They'll have one of you soon, no doubt. Anything you miss from London then? Because the two polar opposites, the big city life to Pembrokeshire.
Yeah, and Pembrokeshire time is a real thing, incidentally. I was told about it, but trying to adjust to that. I miss the hustle and bustle, really fast paced, always something to do. There's always something going on. But on the flip side of that, I enjoy being back in Pembrokeshire and returning and revisiting my roots. So it's been an exciting time all round. But like you said, it's totally polar opposites and ways of living. But as I said, spending most of my adult life in London, coming back is something that I think personally I needed.
Fantastic. And particularly going into the summer months now, the weather's getting better, and there's no place better than Pembrokeshire in the summer, to be fair.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because everyone thinks when you go out a season in football that, everyone takes their foot off the gas and it's, you get a bit of a break. But in fact, it's far more operationally more complex, because out a season is where you fix everything before you go into season. So the schedule of works that we've currently got lined up is vast, and we've actually got a small window to be able to maneuver in it. So there's plenty of work still to come and lots to look forward to.
Exciting. Well, on that then, the next 12 months, after we'll come on to the playoff shortly, what are you looking forward to over the next 12 months then?
Well, I think operationally and commercially, there's a huge amount of room to be able to pivot and move forward. I know the team are all geared up to look at partnerships and sponsorships and how we turn the club around. I think it's in a really embryotic state. It's been doing really well, but there's so much more room to be able to drive it forward. Like I said, there's lots coming down the line, lots more communication to share and lots of updates. And we'll do that as and when they sort of transpire, and we're ready to roll them out. So stay tuned.
Exciting. You're leaving us on a cliff edge there. Right then, we come on to this weekend now, and it's a big one. Obviously, the playoff semi-final. We travel to Cardiff Met for a 5:15 p.m. kickoff. Social media has already been ramping up the excitement this week, not only from the club, but the loyal supporters outlining their plans to travel to the capital. If you've ever wanted to follow the Bluebirds away previously, this is certainly a fixture not to be missed. However, it is also on telly from 5 p.m. on S4C this Saturday. On behalf of all involved in the Bluebirds Nest, those who watch regularly and everybody involved, a massive good luck, I think, to Tony, the staff and all the players. I've been counting down the hours almost to Saturday. I don't know about you, Georgina. I'm assuming you're up in the capital this weekend?
Absolutely, yeah. The team are very much really excited. I think there's a real buzz around the club at the moment, and you just have to be down at the Bridge Meadow or look at our social media that there's a real excitement, and we're in a great position, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the result is going to be. So it's an exciting one and a good one, and I hope to see you there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's been excellent to catch up with you. Thank you finally for coming on. And obviously, thank you for everything you're doing behind the scenes as well. You've outlined a couple of things there and plenty more to come. So thank you for all that. And I guess enjoy the drama. Hopefully there's not too much, but enjoy it. No doubt it'll unfold across the weekend. And see you up in Cardiff Met.
See you in Cardiff Met. Take care.